Hello and welcome back to another episode of Boys Gone Wild. With me, Horatio Gould, and my co-host, Andrew Cohen.
Is this going to be your normal podcast outfit now?
Yeah, I think so. Someone said gardener chic.
Gardener chic.
Definitely. But I think this is how actual gardeners dress. You know, it's not...
Yeah, there's no chic
it's
about
it. It's not like...
you look like you've just come from ploughing.
It's not the idea of a gardener. It feels like a gardener might actually wear these tracksuits, you know?
You're not being ironic. You're actually being sincerely a man who gardens.
A real man.
Yeah.
Someone who's not been irony poisoned by the modern world. I drank the normal amount of coffee I drink, which is a whole big mocha pot.
You don't need
this
to brag.
morning.
And
I got fucking hit with the caffeine, man. Like
when?
This morning. I don't know if because I hadn't eaten. But it's one of the worst caffeine hits I've had. It was like I still feel a bit now, but it was a normal amount I drink, but it's quite a lot.
It's an out of body experience.
Like, this is fucking insane. Like
were you freaking out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it make you feel anxious?
Yeah, well, of course. But
yeah,
there's a lot of things. It feels even when you're sat there. So normally I like a little bit of anxiety. It means that I do like a. It's good because my most like there's like a 20-minute period where my most productive messages, these unhinged, frantic things go, and that I need a little bit of that sort of on the edge of your seat. It can be if you have a little bit of caffeine, it's like. It makes it feel a bit like dun dramatic. But when I drank this, it felt like the kind of final sequence of like a Bourne film. And I'm just sat there and there's nothing wrong.
Cuts.
Nothing wrong. Just like it's, you know.
Well, how much did you drink it quicker?
I don't know. Yeah, mate, yeah.
Do you usually, did you have breakfast?
No.
Well, that's probably it.
Yeah. And I think normally I don't actually finish it all.
Yeah.
So that's probably why.
I hate that. That's my worst thing. Well, having a wank helps.
Really?
Well,
so when you've been over caffeinated, would you wank your way? Would you wank your way
straight into wanking?
Yeah.
And then
it's weird seeing you in a crew neck.
Do you think?
Yeah, you're so always in a hoodie.
Yeah.
It does make you look a lot more boyish.
You say that about everything I wear.
Every
single outfit decision. Yeah, you're saying exactly. Last week you said I can wear a hoodie because I look like a 6-year-old.
You look more petite, that's for sure.
Petite.
You look
these actually kind of make my arms look not too small, which is funny.
But you were saying.
What was I saying? Oh, wank your way out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I find that's your energy has to go
if
somewhere.
If he's backed to the corner, Andrew will wank his way out of it.
Well, yeah. Generally.
That's a good rule of thumb.
Well, it actually can help. It's like it can help with anxiety as well.
That's so sad.
It is, isn't it?
Isn't that so sad?
I don't think it's any surprise that my two primary hobbies are drumming and masturbating. Because they're both things that kind of take the energy.
No, because it's obviously like to help you sleep, masturbating, and if you're overthinking, that's a classic thing. But that is a sad state of affairs, isn't it?
Yeah. If you drank too much coffee, you need to have a wank. It is very so.
No, I just mean like being so anxious you need a wank.
Well, I find that if you're really anxious, the wank isn't gonna solve you long term, but it makes you forget about the anxiety for a bit.
For a little bit.
And it reminds you that it's just a bodily feeling.
Yeah.
Because it's gone when you're wanking. But the problem is it comes back in storm when you finish.
So is it more the lesson
Same with sex.
So it's more the lesson you'd learn.
No, it's actually
it's
literally just for 10 minutes of it not being there.
Yeah, it's like doing like a NOS balloon.
Yeah. Well, I told you about when I went into uni and had like a pint of coffee and then had to leave.
No. Which one?
I went into uni and I was with my ex at the time and we filled up a big vat of coffee to drink on the bus on the way, and I was in charge of making it, and the proportions were out of whack. I'd never done that much coffee before, so I just kind of filled it up.
Is it instant coffee?
Yeah, of course it is. I've never drank anything different, and I refuse to. But so I was piling it in, put the water in. There was no time for milk. We were late, so I whacked it on, then got on the bus, and then I was drinking it like it was water.
Did it taste strong?
Yeah, it tasted really strong. And then she was like, "Oh, I'm good, thanks." And I was like, "Well, I've made this, so I'm going to finish it."
Yeah, you don't want to waste that instant coffee.
Yeah, and I had a 2-hour seminar going into it, and it was I got there and I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm alert. This is going to be good.
Yeah.
And then about half an hour in, I was just kind of looking at my hand, which was just taking notes, even though I wasn't really conscious of taking notes. I was speaking in parcel tongue. And then I got to the point where I was like, I'm having a terrible time. And because the second half of the seminar is more a question and answer thing, and there was only like 8 of us in the seminar.
Yeah.
So I left at half time. I had to go home because I was like, I can't sit here and be. It was more than the eyes that were on me.
Just out?
Yeah, I said I was feeling ill, but in reality, I needed to go home and have a wank.
Did you actually go home and have a wank?
Of course. I did, and it kind of eased it a bit. But I know that was one where I was out for the day.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
Is it dangerous? You got to be careful with the brown dragon.
It is, the brown mistress, Master Brown.
Master Bait. If
it
goes wrong with Master Brown, then you've got to go to Master Bait.
The angel and the devil. But no, there was. I think this is one of our friends was telling me a similar story about how he was. So he was when he was at uni.
He's in prison now.
He is in jail. We were at uni and he did a module in French cinema, and he basically used to always go. He never said anything. He never watched the films, so we had no idea what to say in the cinema. No idea what to say in the classes, and was just silent.
Yeah.
And then. So he kind of felt awkward about going because it was like, why they must like judge me? Yeah. Why am I even here? Yeah. Or they must be thinking, who the fuck is this freak that takes a module, doesn't say anything, comes there for 2 hours and leaves?
Yeah.
And then me and this friend then went out the night before and ended up having quite a lot of cocaine.
Yeah.
And then staying up until about 7 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we were on the way back, and his seminar was at 9.
Yeah.
And we were kind of walking home from wherever we were coming from. And he was like, he kept mentioning this seminar that he had at 9 a.m. because he'd actually watched the film for once, and he was ready to go and talk.
Okay.
And I was like, you're not going to that seminar. You've not slept.
Yeah.
You're either coming down or you're still on drugs.
Yeah.
Or you're definitely still on drugs.
Yeah.
Go home, go to bed, please. Yeah. And he was like, no, I'm getting on this bus and I'm going. Because that's the thing, what makes us even more of a quest is that this wasn't when we were on campus, we were a half an hour bus away.
The U1.
So the U1. So surely the U1 would be enough to put you off trying to go to that seminar, still on drugs from the night before.
Yeah.
But that couldn't convince him otherwise. He was sure that he wanted to at least say a few things about one film in this seminar. So he goes there, and bearing in mind he's being silent for the whole year. He goes in there. Now the first half of the seminar kind of functions as it's a bit of a lecture. So there's not really it's not a discussion.
Bit of a lecture, is it?
Bit of a lecture, some old bat droning on about French cinema. And
don't lecture me,
I'm a student. I've got things to say. No, so the first half is meant to be. The teacher teaches, the class listens. The second half is a discussion.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That didn't stop this friend who arrived still on cocaine.
Yeah.
And honestly, he was shouting.
He's quite a quiet person in seminars.
He'd said nothing before this. Imagine the scene where he's clearly like, I wonder how much they thought he's definitely on drugs.
Yeah.
Because he'd never said anything before. He clearly hasn't slept.
No.
And he comes in and he's jabbering about French cinema. Couldn't stop. When it wasn't his turn to speak. So he went from them trying to coax answers out of him to trying to shut him up.
Yeah.
And then in the second half of the seminar, he fell completely asleep. He passed out, fell asleep during the discussion bit. So he'd come in.
That's the best. If you go 100% first.
100% is like a little dog who's kind of wore himself out and needs to have a nap.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot like the caffeine wanking kind of spectrum.
It really is. He went hard and now he has to have a nap. But because that was just imagine. Whenever I hear that story, I always imagine just the rest of that seminar just looking at this quiet kid who suddenly rocks up and is interrupting the lecturer during this thing. It's almost because you'd be sitting there like he might be on drugs, but that would be crazy if he was on drugs. It just looks like he's really passionate about this one film, and then he's worn himself out and then has to sleep for the rest of the hour. And then he came back after that.
Well, I guess I had something similar in one seminar. There was a kid who literally never spoke. Just one of those people who's just like unbelievably shy, never spoke, have no idea what he's like. And then there was a group project where you'd split off into pairs and you'd make a PowerPoint about something. And I can't quite remember what it was, but I don't even know what topic it was. It was either sci-fi or political cinema. I forgot which one it was. And he clearly loved this topic. I was so annoyed I can't remember what the topic was. And so he put so much effort into this PowerPoint, and he just completely
animations.
Really? Genuinely animations.
I'd argue that's actually taking effort away from a PowerPoint.
Yeah,
but
not the animations you're thinking
like
of.
Not
like. But just like so much more than anyone else who's so passionate about it. And we were meant to do 10 minutes, and then he wouldn't get off.
Wait, so were you with him?
No.
We
were just watching though, but
he wouldn't get off.
We do 10 minutes each.
But so was he just presenting, or were there questions?
You're meant to do it for 10 minutes and then have questions.
Yeah.
But it was kind of getting awkward because he basically went for about 25 minutes.
Do you just think it was all the things he wanted to say?
It was all,
that's what was too shy to say.
That was it. But he just came to life in this thing, and he was just getting more and more, and no one could stop him. And we kind of didn't want to stop him. And let the boy run.
Let the boy shine.
Yeah.
Let the boy shine.
So I can imagine that's very similar.
Yeah, but then did he fall asleep after?
No, then he.
So it's
then
similar.
He started masturbating, and it was
right. He had to let it go somewhere. That's the thing. He probably drank too much coffee and then let it all happen.
Yeah, no, but she's a dangerous devil, the old brown.
Yeah, I haven't had a sip of coffee for 2 months.
How many herbal teas do you think you drink throughout the day?
More than previously. Minimum 3.
Yeah.
Maximum 6.
And what flavour are you going to? Because I do see your flavours.
Yep.
You know, it's a personal choice.
Sure.
Too much ginger for me.
That wasn't actually my choice.
I'm glad.
Yeah. But
what? Because you know.
Ginger.
I'm a big herbal tea guy,
yeah.
But in very specific circumstances, and I'm a bit. Even herbal teas, I'm a bit conservative. You know.
Yeah, but you're just a chamomile.
I'm just a chamomile slut.
But you're not using herbal tea in the same way as I do. And if you did, you would come on. So ginger, actually,
when?
A what?
Come when?
Come.
You said come. You said if you would come, and then you changed your name.
Yeah, should have finished that sentence. If you drank herbal tea like me,
you said it in such a weird cadence.
If you drank herbal tea like me,
you'd come.
You'd come round to my thinking.
You'd come. Yeah, okay.
You'd come round to my thinking. An important sentence to finish off in hindsight. I am actually a ginger fan. At the moment, I'm drinking turmeric, which is a bit much. But
heavy, that's intense shit.
Yeah, because you're drinking herbal tea as a pudding. I'm drinking it as a main.
Okay.
Because
you need more substance.
Yeah, and it's like you're like, if you're drinking herbal tea, let's make it as healthy as possible. Chamomiles for who cares? That's just do you want to relax in the evening?
Healthy as possible.
Yeah, get some herbs in you.
I guess so. All right, yeah, carry on.
So, but it's also
proceed. So
you're waking up and you're needing a hit of coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
Give me some ginger.
I guess so.
Give me that sharp taste of ginger.
Yeah.
Chamomile, I might as well go back to bed.
Yeah. I wouldn't drink chamomile if it wasn't before bedtime.
Exactly. So if you cut coffee out and you needed a hot drink in the morning.
Yeah. I think what's funny about you is that you've become puritanical. Not puritanical. You stopped.
I've just stopped drinking caffeine.
You stopped drinking the caffeine. Yeah. All right. But this whole herbal tea thing is the kind of thing that some like sort of addict or the most boring man alive would do.
Yeah.
But you haven't stopped the drinking.
No. Why would I do that?
It's quite a rare combo.
It is because
I even look at you now.
Yeah, it is a funny combo, but that's me.
No, caffeine. Yeah. No, I can't. That's just not good for me. Alcohol, yeah, even more than ever.
Well, I'm not. I think that's fair, and alcohol not even more than ever. That's not the truth, because I recognise that I'm never going to stop all my vices. You might as well stop some of them.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a right order to do it.
No.
I'm drinking somewhat less.
Yeah.
Being in a relationship has made it go straight back up because I have to put up with all the
all the nagging. That's what they don't talk about.
Stop wanking in the bed. I know you've had too much coffee, which is why
I'm anxious.
It needs to happen. Which is why I cut out caffeine.
Yeah.
But no, because caffeine actually, it just alcohol doesn't. I don't get that hungover.
No.
I don't get crazily hungover. So honestly, caffeine does worse things to me on a day-to-day basis than alcohol does.
Yeah.
So cut it out.
For sure. What we got on the docket today then?
Well, we've got Balders. Alec Bald.
Oh yeah. What will happen with him? I haven't really seen this.
Yeah, well, because we discussed it.
Because obviously Baldwin
murdered someone.
Yeah. I think one of my favourite Patreon episodes was about Baldwin.
Yeah.
It was about the Bavarian Snow Prince.
Snow Prince, yeah. So we all know what happened with him. No one needs to be filled in.
Yeah.
But yeah, recently he's been to the court and everything. He's been charged.
With what?
With involuntary manslaughter.
But what does that mean?
That's a great question.
Practically.
Well, because how can you have voluntary manslaughter? I'm pretty sure it wasn't manslaughter when you accidentally kill someone.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
What's voluntary?
Manslaughter is unplanned killing someone. So you could, right now, if you said something and I was just like, "Ah!" and I just stabbed you like that would be manslaughter.
No, it wouldn't. That would be murder.
No, murder's premeditated.
No,
it's premeditated murder.
No way in hell is that the truth. If you stab me right now, you don't think you're going down for murder? You're not going down for manslaughter.
Okay, I might be wrong. Let's just check.
Manslaughter, I think involuntary would be that. Voluntary would be that. Well, it's negligence.
By law, okay, manslaughter is a common law legal term for homicide considered by law as less culpable than murder. The distinction between murder and manslaughter is sometimes said to have first been made by the ancient okay, all right, mate.
Like if you hit someone with a car that steps out into the street, that would be on
for voluntary manslaughter, the offender had intent to kill or seriously harm, but acted in the moment. So I was right.
If you stab me
in the moment.
That shouldn't be manslaughter.
If it was one thing you said.
You should be down for murder.
I hadn't even thought about killing you.
You should be down for murder.
No, murder
You stabbed me.
No, murder would be if I was like, right, around the halfway point in the episode when he's relaxed, when he's had his herbal tea.
When he least expects it.
When he least expects it.
Because I'm on my guard every time.
Yeah, I'm going to get a pen and stab it into his neck. That's murder.
But then, no, I don't like that. What do you mean? If you stab me...
Murder is when you plan to kill someone. Manslaughter is in the moment, just like you fucking.
But what I would think manslaughter would be if it's so. Actually, it happened on a TV show. So if someone got into a fight outside, a bar. I don't know why outside a bar is necessary.
Yeah.
And they punched someone and accidentally killed them. Like they punched without the intent to kill.
That's part of it.
You
as well.
Stabbing me to death on a podcast. You should go down for murder.
But only if. A reasonable,
I don't think you would though.
Under circumstances that could cause a reasonable person to become emotionally and mentally disturbed.
But there you go. There's
so
no
you said.
So it's all on me.
No.
You're victim shaming.
No, I'm saying that's
you're victim shaming.
No, I'm saying between manslaughter and murder, if someone is reasonable as me, someone who fulfills his civic duties,
I think a half decent lawyer would be able to make the case that you were an unreasonable person if, due to anything I said on this podcast, you just
crime.
You just stabbed me.
No,
you'd go down for murder.
No, you wouldn't.
But you won't. That's what. So there would have to be a reasonable circumstance around it. There is no reasonable circumstance here. You're going down for murder.
Depends what you say.
Well, what in this world that you've made up? What have I said? I fucked your mum.
I fucked your mum, and I'll be like, yeah, you what? And if they saw that on here, and I hadn't known that, and then I killed you immediately, that would be manslaughter.
No, you go down for murder.
No, I'd go down for manslaughter.
You'd go down for murder.
It would be manslaughter.
It wouldn't be No, because that's not reasonable.
It would be like he banged
on a comedy podcast.
He banged his mum.
On a comedy podcast, if someone says I fucked your mum,
do
you think that's a reasonable situation?
Yeah, but manslaughter's not going like fair play.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. Manslaughter's not being like, oh, it's only manslaughter. It's just the distinction of killing someone.
I've never every time I get a request from the police, I've seen manslaughter for car accidents.
Yeah.
A stabbing.
Because it's above your pay grade. You don't have the clearance.
You're right, I don't actually. I am waiting for that
I've got Q-level clearance.
You have got Q-level clearance. What, Qing on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Q.
You are. You know more than the police, actually.
And it's an American.
No.
I don't know. It's kind of irrelevant.
Clearance joke aside, no, because you see any stabbing, and I've seen things that
if they come up to you and ask you for money, and then you don't.
That's not planned.
That's murder because it could be on the cards. I murder this cunt.
I cannot believe that you would be...
Wikipedia, you mean? Sorry.
Apologies.
Yeah, I cannot believe that Wikipedia...
My apologies. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't realise we went straight to the king.
Yeah.
You'd be done for murder.
Yeah, this is what it says here.
But I don't... This is not right. You know it's not right. In your heart of hearts.
I don't. In my heart of hearts,
so if I go as a punchline
it's
and then I bang your mum...
A crime of passion is within that world.
So a husband and wife get into an argument.
Yeah.
Husband kills wife. You're saying she's not going down for murder because he absolutely is.
What, she is?
Yeah, and she should be.
Yeah.
Because she provoked him. No, the man.
Manslaughter.
It'll be woman slaughter in that
sense. Pistorius. What was that case?
Let's have a look at that. So he
went... No, because he went and got the gun.
Well, but you went and got a knife.
No, I was already holding it. I was chopping onions. And then she said, and then I was just like,
what did Pistorius go down?
Pistorius,
the athlete shot dead model Reva Steenkamp in the early hours of Valentine's Day in 2013 when he fired 4 times through the door of his bedroom toilet. Pistorius found guilty of manslaughter.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Was upgraded to murder because...
Well... Justice.
Because they heard what you had to say about it.
They were like, actually. But that's mental, because I thought manslaughter would be like, oh, you're in a tractor.
Yeah,
you're in a tractor on a farm, and someone's in front of you picking up all
I fucked your mum.
No, that's murder for me.
Yeah.
And then another worker is in front of me picking up all the cauliflowers, and I get distracted by a phone call, leave the handbrake off, and kill him. There's no intent. I always thought manslaughter was murder with no intent.
Yeah, people are wrong.
But Pistorius upgraded to murder. Why was Pistorius upgraded to murder?
Because I'll tell you why.
No, how about we let someone else tell me why? Why was Pistorius upgraded?
Because he limped over to get his prosthetic legs.
That's not.
No, it's part of the thing, which is the dark, macabre, almost comedy of it. Is that the reason why it couldn't be in the moment is that he had to strap his feet on. His legs on, and it's like
no, but that's how long are you giving him?
As much as it's like in the moment, it's like once you're clipping these boys on, it's like you've got plenty of time.
This must be wrong.
It's like loading a musket. You've got time to think about it.
They changed it because the judge said, I have no doubt, the accused must have foreseen and therefore did foresee that whoever was behind that door might die. The judges said it was clear that Pistorius had criminal intent in firing and therefore guilty of murder. It's the intent behind it. If you stabbed me multiple times to death because I said that I fucked your mother on a comedy podcast, you'd have intent. No, you'd be down for murder because that would be proven that you intended to kill me.
So because why is the definition, official definition, different?
What would be different?
Let's just go off what you say.
What would be different?
Not the official one. It's fine.
Wikipedia. What would be different is if you hit me round the head with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Because if you stab me, then there is clear intent to murder.
It seems like what they're saying here is if for a brief moment you become mentally ill, is what the implication here.
Now that's your reading of it.
No. Voluntary manslaughter, the offender had intent to kill or seriously harm, but acted in the moment under circumstances that could cause a reasonable person to become emotionally or mentally disturbed. So it's basically completely normal, but for some reason, for about 40 seconds, they became classed as clinically insane and therefore cannot be culpable for any sort of action.
But isn't that self-defense?
So you saying if you said fuck your mum and then I go clinically insane for 40 seconds, then that is no longer murder.
But so then Pistorius would have been given that. But there was intent.
No, because he strapped his legs on.
There was intent for grievous harm.
What?
Yeah, but strapping your legs on, that's 5 minutes?
Yeah. You don't have enough time to be mental for that long.
We need a better case because
no. Let's move on. I want to hear about the Baldwin thing.
Yeah, but I just want to just on a serious note. Do you think if you stabbed me on this podcast, if you went stab me enough for me to die because I said I fucked your mother, you think you wouldn't go down for murder? Because I'm actually willing to die for this.
So
you can go.
And I'll fucking kill you.
And you'll go down for murder. You'll be locked up for life,
you'll
mate.
You'll be happily dead.
Yeah, I'll be dead. And I'll be watching over going, fucking told you.
And I'll be like, it was manslaughter.
And he'll be like, no, you have no grasp of the law, Horatio. You've murdered him.
I'll tell you when it would be murder. If I spent ages looking for the pen.
No, it's not about time.
No, it is.
It's not about time.
If you said it and I was just like,
it's about intent.
And then I just went bang.
It's not about time.
But then if I was like, where's that fucking pen?
It's about the instrument.
Shit, where's that pen? And then I'm looking at it and I'm like, is that gonna? Yeah. All right. Okay. And then I went like, that's murder.
No.
Get him in the bin.
No, you're focusing too much on
So
time.
involuntary manslaughter. What do you get charged for that? Surely it can only be. It can only be a real bad problem for him if it's gross negligence, right?
Well, if you get charged for any kind of manslaughter, that's a massive deal. You still get bare prison time for manslaughter.
Involuntary.
Yeah.
But what if it's not? What happens if you do it and it's not your fault?
Well, that's what it. But they're
and it's
classifying.
only a problem if it's gross negligence, right?
Still.
Stinky negligence.
How much time do you get for involuntary man? It's a funny thing to Google.
Yeah.
Up to 12 years.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
So is he going to be...
Up to, but...
He's already done a podcast with Tim Dillon.
Yes. He's already dressed up for Halloween.
He's already dressed up as the Gruffalo. He's already just acted like everything's normal and now he might be in jail.
Yeah, there's two types. Unlawful act manslaughter and manslaughter by gross negligence.
I'm a Baldwin truther.
I'm a Baldwin truther.
Yeah.
But so what's happening, which is interesting, because when I first read it, I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
How are we doing that?
Yeah.
They're giving it to him due to his role as a producer rather than an actor.
So it's not about him shooting it.
It's not about him shooting it. It's about him.
Well, surely there should be some other cunts in the mix
there
as
are.
well.
I think there are some other cunts in the mix.
Yeah.
But surely, like, he's Alec Baldwin. He's the star of it. He's the producer of it. How
He was
intimately...
brilliant in 30 Rock.
He was really funny. It's Alec Baldwin.
Fucking, what are we doing,
Well,
guys?
you can't put him in jail.
It's fucking Alec
It's Alec Baldwin.
Alec
He
Baldwin
did Trump on SNL.
You can't put Baldwin in jail.
You can't put him in
Put
jail.
his brother in at least.
Well,
It'd be great if his brother went in. They're
By
like, we've got to put one of you in.
Sorry, guys. Yeah.
We can't put Alec in. Put
Alec's
the
the
fucking.
best
Who's
one.
the other one? Stephen.
There's like 7, isn't there?
Yeah.
But he's, he's sure he's a producer of it, but he's also the main character. How much is he going to be involved in the, gun safety?
Well, haven't they started refilming it?
I know. Surely that film is never going to see the light now. It keeps getting better. If it does see the light, it would be astonishing.
Now,
they've got to cut their losses.
I want to know what, I don't know, the AD on set or the line producer. I want to know what they start shouting when it's reset. Right, guys, we're getting
moving on.
We're getting these bullets here because you'd make a big show of it, wouldn't you? You couldn't be like trying to make it cash. Like you
imagine the new director behind the camera shaking.
Fucking
Jesus Christ! Triple checking the guns.
Yeah, I do it. Just all so we know because it'd be like the most checks ever. Surely
it makes me nervous to work with a gun at any point.
Yeah, because
it's such a colossal fuck up.
Yeah,
but someone should be held accountable.
Yeah,
but surely there's a weapons expert on the set. I think that's a legal requirement. Isn't
I wonder what.
Well, maybe I don't know. I didn't read. I'm not sure how much of the case is available, but maybe there wasn't appropriate. If there the one where if he should be charged as a production team if there wasn't like adequate expertise, because that's their job to employ them.
Baldwin, like lad, he's being Alec Baldwin.
Well, that was my first answer.
He's at Hollywood parties. We don't want our Baldwin. What is he? Is he fucking checking the emails and making sure? Yeah. Let's get a really good. It's Alec Baldwin.
Yeah,
he's not doing that.
I know,
shit.
but that doesn't really hold up in court, which is, I think, his legal team's difficulty.
Because he's not.
If their legal team's defense was just take another one. There's like 7 of the Baldwins.
But when a Hollywood star is a producer on a film, I don't think they're responsible for health and safety. Right? Like,
that's what I agree with that.
Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
I know it's probably wrong. Yeah. It's also not wrong. It's also completely right.
Well, I've always wondered how much they actually do.
Yeah, exactly. What
isn't it just so they get more money?
Exactly, and put their name on it. Yeah. They might put some money into it.
But I don't know, because I've heard different like interviews of people talking about actors that produce, and it's like I know they've blown smoke up their ass, but it's like how impressive it is when they can do both at the same time. So I guess some are more hands on than others.
Yeah,
but then also, isn't that just the AD's job? Yeah. I don't get what. Surely
there's a lot of jobs, But it was about
there's a lot of
it's about
people.
hiring the right people. So obviously the people, because the weapons handler was like
A dog.
young and shit.
A child.
Don't comment on her looks.
Apologies.
I know you're upset.
I know.
You don't need to get personal.
I lashed out. And it was unfair. It was unfair.
But yeah,
But surely is it
truther.
Yeah, I am. But I'm saying the only circumstance where it's legitimate if there wasn't like a trained professional looking after the guns, then someone else has to be culpable.
Yeah.
It's so dumb as well because the things I've heard is that they wanted the gun to look real and look heavy.
Yeah.
So they put real bullets in it.
Yeah, that's
and then they changed it out in between the shots when they actually had to shoot and just like whose idea was that?
One got caught in the chamber.
Yeah, if you cock it, it'll be in there.
Yeah.
And that's like entry level shit. I could have told you that. Yeah. I could have been the gun expert on the film of Rust and no one would have died.
Yeah.
One, because I'd be terrified of someone dying. But that's what all gun experts should be. They should be terrified that someone might die.
I feel like, I'll be like, yeah, I feel in retrospect we shouldn't have mixed real bullets and fake bullets in the same box.
Because I don't know which one's which, but I think it'll be fine.
You'll be like, yeah.
That looks like something.
In retrospect, they should have been in separate boxes. It was my bad. I don't know what I was thinking. I was trying to save time.
Yeah.
Time is money.
You guys are putting loads of pressure on me. It's a really important
I don't know why I put
film.
them in the same box. That was a dumb idea.
I'm in the same room as Alec Baldwin. I'm like, anything to
I
go
should have
smoothly.
labelled them bullets miscellaneous.
Yeah. Miscellaneous bullets. But
free Baldwin.
I think free Baldwin.
We need, we don't need Baldwin in jail. We need Baldwin doing comedy roles with his strangely handsome but chubby demeanour.
He's got something about him. He's definitely got the charisma.
Yeah, for sure.
But
too much so for jail.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have a great time in jail.
Why? Because
Are you
implying the epidemic of prison bum rape that's going on?
You know what?
That's what you're implying.
You
think this is like a little innuendo?
Think he wants to be in jail?
What? Because of all the prison bum rape?
Because of all the prison bum rape? No, he'll just go to a rich jail and be fine.
Oh yeah.
Have you not seen the end of Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah, Goodfellas as well. Yeah.
He'll just play tennis.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
That's our Baldwin. But we wouldn't want it any other way.
We wouldn't want it any other way because if Baldwin goes down, he shouldn't go down. Yeah. We don't.
Even I saw, and this is how fucked. Even I saw an image of Ghislaine Maxwell calling from jail.
Yeah.
She was on one of those prison phones. I don't know who was interviewing her. I was like, can we get an interview with her? Like, who's she speaking to? Probably not. Probably couldn't get an interview with Ghislaine.
Keep going. keep thinking.
So we need more women on the pod.
Yeah, let's get a lady who human trafficked other women. What a lovely statement.
Look at this, Ghislaine.
It's women. It is women.
But yeah, even seeing her, it is bad. But sometimes when you see someone who, I don't know, seeing super elite, uber rich people in jail, part of you's being like, oh fucking hell, like, give them a comb. Do you know what I mean? It's like in a split second, you're like, no.
No, because that is
it's bad.
It's a bad thought.
It's but it's about. I'm being honest about.
So you don't think that when you see poorer people in jail, you think they don't deserve combs?
Well, most.
Someone can't wait to hear what this sentence is.
No, but I'm saying, if I thought that then I'd think that pretty much every time I see someone in jail.
I'm not sure.
Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff about people in prison.
Yeah.
And I'd be lying if every single prisoner I said, get him a comb.
Because you just presume they don't comb anyway.
No!
There it is.
No!
There it is. Horatio Gould, the classist. No, I know you're not.
Do you know what I mean?
I know you're not being. You're being. I'm joking with what I think you're saying, but I actually don't know what you mean.
Yeah, okay. Because
you're saying, you see Ghislaine Maxwell in prison after human trafficking.
No, I'll tell you what it is.
And you go, I'll give her a comb. I would like to unpack. I'd like to unpack it.
I think it's the feeling of. Wouldn't that? It's the feeling of God. You must be having an absolute stinker,
right?
But you probably feel that more because the further you've fallen, the more of a stinker.
Well, but the more, I think what you're saying is, crikey. That's a big difference.
Yeah,
rather than
it's more
give the poor girl.
I'll tell you what it is. Whenever you see people in jail, there's often you sympathise or empathise with them and imagine yourself in their situation.
Yeah,
and I feel when you imagine yourself in Ghislaine Maxwell's situation,
because
the step down would be,
and you do identify with Ghislaine Maxwell quite a lot.
I think I've got a lot. We've all got
a lot of her in us. Different circumstances could have been us.
Yeah, easily. There's a feeling of fucking hell.
But are you saying because you?
It's the
maybe
drop.
because
if you fall off a cliff,
is it not anyone?
There's a lot.
Is it not anyone that you?
I'm saying I'm wrong, by the way, but I'm just being honest with how.
And I'm trying to help. Is it that there's when you know what that person looks like outside of jail?
Yeah.
Then you see them with uncombed hair within the jail. Then you're like, shit, jail must be hard.
I feel you're focusing too much on the comb.
So what are you focusing on?
But I'm saying if you saw Alec Baldwin,
he kind of looks like it. He looked like how he'd look in jail in the days after the shooting.
If you saw Alec Baldwin in the queue for gruel, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't be like, bloody hell, give that guy some steak. Actually, I would because I'm a Baldwin trophy.
That's the wrong thing. It's not like it's more the feeling of. It's that feeling of, God, imagine how fucking shit that is. Which you'd feel more so than if you saw.
I think you misspoke with give her a comb.
Yeah, I think the give her a comb thing.
Because that's more like, give her special treatment.
Yeah.
But I agree. Once you know of someone who's famous who then goes into jail, how's Boris Becker doing? By the way, he's been in there for a bit.
Boris, let me see if I want to see a picture of Boris Becker,
because that man has quite famously good and well kempt hair.
Boris Becker jail. Let's see him in jail.
Boris Becker jail pics, but he'll be in some Lux he's in the UK, isn't he? Jail
pics. Is anything nothing?
But he's got that really tight kind of parting that looks good.
That's a drawing, sadly.
Oh, someone's just imagined what it would look like.
Someone's imagined. That's not what I'm after. Well, I can't feel for Boris until I've seen the image of him. And I won't believe he's in jail until I see such a thing.
I think what you're more talking is about an empathising of what it is.
Well,
But that's because it's like a before and after picture.
I'm now getting into quite a bad habit of literally just talking about how I felt, no matter how bad the thought was. And it's just because I felt it, it's worth saying.
I've done that a bit.
Yeah, so
I've done it historically.
I think I might have pissed off Paddy's sisters, who
Haven't you done that before?
I did that with the Serena Williams debate, where I was wrong, but this time this time I am sort of right on this one.
Hit me.
And we talked about this debate before, and I was raising it with them because I thought it would be an interesting debate.
When was this?
But I think I upset them. This was on Saturday night.
Yeah.
For BB's brother's birthday. For some reason, they actually boring. And it was talking about, as much as I know I'm wrong.
I do want to hear why Paddy's sisters went to BB's brother's birthday.
Because Paddy's sister went to uni.
Oh, it is boring. Sorry, continue.
And I was basically saying, as bad as it is, and as ashamed as, and I know I'm wrong about this.
I should be allowed to wear this blackface.
Exactly. Well, it was the thing I've talked about before, which is, I would never take the woman's surname for myself.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be fully against the child having the surname maybe, or double-barreled.
Yeah.
But, and I think it's wrong that women have to take the men's surname.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be the first geezer to do it.
You're not.
Tell me someone.
The first straight one, is that what you're going to say?
Well, doesn't count. But then I was more like, because everyone in theory, what I'm obsessed with is everyone in theory likes the concept of it.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, I'd do it. And it's like, when it comes to the crunch, you're not going to do it. And also, you don't know anyone who's done it.
Yeah.
And my point is, the kind of people who would do it, I wouldn't want to hang out with them. And that's when it got wrong. And this is when I lost it, because I was raising some quite interesting points. This is when I really took it. And this is when Paddy.
But it's a half joke.
Paddy had a word with me afterwards, and he was like, look, I know what you're saying, but it doesn't come across clear, and this was too much.
And maybe
it's when I said, if one of my
party.
mates came to the pub after changing his name, I would be a bit like, do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I went, do you know what I mean? I was doing this.
Yeah.
And I feel that was a bit much.
Well, you are, in reality, you're joking.
But I'm not. There was a nub of truth in that, because the reason why I'm talking about my own insecurities, and I'm talking about how fucked that I think this. But the reason I think this is that it would be a bit smug, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean? If you, as much as it's okay, I'd love it to become more socially normalised, but to be the early people to do it, it's like you're probably going to be quite tedious at dinner parties. If you're the kind of person who innovates in that way, you're probably going to be a bit tedious at dinner parties. Do you know what I mean?
It reeks of cuck.
Do you know? Yeah, that's the subtext that I didn't even say.
Because I think in an ideal world, where we haven't had the tradition of women taking men's names.
Yeah.
And this is what I want the world to be. It's just like whichever name sounds better.
It should be.
That's what it should be.
Should be. Completely agreed.
We're all agreed on that. Mea culpa. Me no messed up at all.
Oh, me no speaker.
Me no probably on glassy. But then I think because we're getting to the nub of the problem as well, is that if the problem is that girls justifiably don't want to lose their name, so
completely fair enough.
Let's not solve the problem by then making it men who have to lose their name, or making men.
And it was a very specific thing. It was just if you're a guy
double barrel the cunt.
Double barrel, and as I said, as I reiterated many times, double barrel absolutely fine.
Did you say double barrel the cunt?
I said double barrow those cunts.
Yeah, good.
With both barrels,
and they weren't swayed by. They weren't swayed by that.
Just double barrel any cunt who changes his name. It's in my head. I'm thinking realistically.
Yeah.
If me and BB got married and so she keeps saying her surname is better, but it's like it's not her surname. Her surname is not Cave. Cave is one part of a double-barreled maiden name. I'm like, that doesn't count.
Whoa. It's one part of a double-barreled maiden name.
Yeah. So her mum's surname's Haddon Cave.
Haddon Cave.
Cave, double-barreled.
Right.
They were smart onto this.
Yeah.
And her dad's surname's Lloyd. Her official surname's Lloyd. So I'm like, you can't have Cave. You can't just...
Oh, but is it Lloyd? Is her
Lloyd.
legal name Cave?
Legal name's Lloyd.
But then she wants you to take Cave.
She says, "Oh, Cave would be better," and Cave's a cool surname.
Horatio Cave.
But also, I wouldn't take. So let's say it's
Cave.
Lloyd, which is what it actually is.
Yeah, Horatio Lloyd. Ugh.
But it's like just taking her. I just feel like.
And then again, BB Gould.
It's not great. It's a terrible surname. And I know.
Why don't you just keep them?
And what annoyed me about BB?
It's quite nice.
What annoyed me about BB is that then Paddy's sister spoke to BB, and of course BB completely sold me down the river.
Oh, that's no chance.
Isn't he awful? Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
On the train on the way back, so after she'd put up this whole show, she was like, she admitted to me, which is what I know to be the case, that if I took her surname, she would respect me less, which is the case.
Yeah. No, it's true.
It's true.
It's because it is true, and maybe the next generation can get it, but there's too much ingrained within it.
Yeah,
there's too much.
And I'd love some people to be the vanguard to sort it out. I just don't want to have to speak.
But you're not going to respect the vanguard. No. You publicly out with.
I'd rather not hang out with them.
Yeah,
because they probably have some really annoying views. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is me trying to be, because part of what I find interesting is being honest about how I actually felt, no matter how bad it is. But people don't like to hear.
Well,
people really don't like to hear. And even if you're like, what I'm saying is wrong, but I felt it.
But you can't resist to go to the next level.
That's
too much. Because it doesn't. You can't make a good kind of societal point while then saying, yeah, but I wouldn't want to hang out with the guys who did.
Yeah.
That's then, I think, what people would call toxic masculinity.
It probably is.
Because you're literally talking about going to the pub with the geezer after and calling him a pussy.
Well, just all right, mate.
But I think maybe instead of because you're obviously going to piss them off.
Yeah.
And I think you knew that, and I think part of you wanted that.
No,
yes, they did.
I thought it was an interesting debate.
It is an interesting debate.
Yeah.
But there'll be a bit of a smarmy cunt at the pub.
Yeah.
And I'd call them a wanker.
Yeah.
Isn't part of a healthy debate.
That's true. I went too far there for sure.
I don't think you went too far because I don't think anyone should be too upset.
There was a lot of guys who were chiming in.
Quietly going, yeah.
No, there's no chiming in who were disagreeing with me, and then I pushed them more.
They were trying to get laid.
They all agreed with me. Of course they do, and that's what I love so much. Is what we say and then really think about
what
it.
we think.
No, you don't think that. Yeah, I know you don't.
It's just a regurgitation of like what was acceptable to say, and then actually. Yeah, because I do agree, but you know, it
is wrong.
I'm not sure BB's brother's party is the time to really dive into that.
Definitely not.
But it's true. Because I'd never change my name.
No,
there's no chance.
And even if
a double barrel the cunt.
Even if the kids get her name, which is fair, it's just changing your name. It's just.
But it's fixing a problem with another problem.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason girls don't want to lose their name.
Keep it.
Yeah, and that means then the problem to that isn't the guys losing their name.
No.
You need to do something else.
Exactly.
What about combine them?
Yeah, but then I'll still bring up the reason. Like no one even cares, but I'll still bring up that I view someone as cucked.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
which is quietly true.
It is true, and a lot of people would
but
think that.
I think I would try and get over that feeling.
Yeah,
because I think in a way, it's brave.
Yeah,
and the bravery actually might make them not.
Yeah.
The bravery could counteract.
Well, it depends how they do it. Do you know what I mean?
Would you prefer to do them quietly or loudly?
Quietly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Just like, you're not make a big song and dance about it. Because then it becomes a political point.
Yeah.
If it's
Fair
just
play to you, my boy.
If it's just that name sounds better.
Yeah.
Then there's a bravery and an admiration I can get behind in that.
Yeah. It's like having a pram made of bamboo for the environment. Do you not? Maybe not. That was poor.
That's a thinker.
Give Ghislaine Maxwell a comb.
Just give her a comb.
Give her a comb.
Or we could combine, instead of double barreling it, because then we'll get into endless, double barrels for the next generation. Well, what I quite like about double barreling is we're like, you just fucking work it out.
Yeah.
Because everyone's going to have double barreled surnames.
Doesn't
and then
work.
they'll get with.
And then you can't have a family.
Well, just keep it going.
What's the family called? The what family?
4 names. Gould, Cave, Smith.
Billy family.
Billy?
I don't know.
It's my dad's name.
No, it was a surname in this.
Billy?
Billy.
Weird.
Horatio Billy.
Or, so to counteract that, just combine. So don't double barrel it, just combine them into one word.
There we go. Now you're thinking. Now we're cooking with
you
gas.
Can't double barrel your 2's names.
Gould Cave.
A Gould Cave.
Horrible.
What does Gould mean?
Well, that's Urban Dictionary.
What does Urban Dictionary say Gould means?
It means masturbating in front of a woman in an attempt to shame her.
In a cave. That means people go to that cave.
Yeah.
If you do that, if you combine your name, you could do Cave Gould.
It's a wank shames
If you
cave.
combine your name to Gould Cave,
Yeah.
all for the rest of your life, whenever I look at you, I'm going to picture you in a dark cave in the wilderness wanking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. So it's a complex one. But I think there's some other cultures that do it much better.
What do they do?
I think there's I don't know what they do, but it worked.
Something.
It's just less kind of rigid, but the surname means less.
Yeah.
You do need a family. Does need a name because it's.
The problem is there's also an argument to say, well, there's no one left to carry on the name.
Fair.
Which I do not win on.
But that's all. It's all the children.
Yeah, I know. But if there's two, if a kid has. If there's a child, 2 girls, then that could be the end of it. Mm-hmm. And that's a really fair argument. Yeah. But then I have the opposite of that argument. Yeah. I'm fucked with that. Yeah. There's already 20 great grandkids on my side. There's enough Kerwins. And frankly, there's too many.
There's too many.
If I was doing the world a service, I'd take that name out of circulation.
Exactly.
But you can just keep it and they keep it. Can't we just keep different surnames?
Yeah.
There's something nice about it, I guess.
Rishi's been in the news. So this is kind of Rishi's first splash into Boys Gone Wild, I guess. Yeah. Sort of news because I think after, actually him being tiny. I think him.
Well, that was going to happen.
Him being small as a mouse and
yes,
him talking about his love of Coke canned. So he's had a couple of things there.
He's dipped in.
Yeah, he's dipped
and he's
in.
only dipping in now.
Yeah. So what?
He was. It is a funny video.
Yeah.
Who's that guy? Munya did a really a really funny parody because it's like hi guys in the car and things like Jesus Christ, this is funny. And he's just talking about some economic policy or something, but he's in the back of a moving car, and he's not wearing a seatbelt. Yeah. Cue national outrage. And this one, I remember kind of
what is the national? Because I've seen the outrage to the outrage, but I haven't seen the outrage.
The outrage is that
is it a legit outrage, or is it manufactured outrage?
It's manufactured.
Okay.
Is
it the sort of people who are complaining about the Philip Schofield being in the car advert, or
I actually just think it's the media.
Sort of, okay, fine.
I think it's just I haven't seen much online on my Reddit forums.
Sure.
I've only seen it really in the media, but it maintained momentum in the media because that's the whole thing about this news cycle thing is that you have the initial thing that happens, no one cares about it really, but then you have to get the apology for it, and then you get the responses to the apology and everything. And it just keeps going forever. But the general line, which I read, if this man can't obey to the laws, how can we trust him to enforce them? What's a load of shit?
Is it a gate? Is it
What
a
a
seatbelt?
load
Is
of-
it Seatbeltgate?
It will be in a week. if the momentum keeps rolling, then I guess so. What's a load of dog shit?
Yeah, I genuinely couldn't care. It's like, of all of the scandals, it's probably is the one I've cared least about.
And it's just the way that it's almost the clearest example I've seen of, you know, manufactured news.
Yeah.
Just, you know, for the clicks and the scandal, and, you know, it made me go more into conspiracy theories.
Really?
Because I'm like, this is the definition of distraction.
The Earth is flat.
The Earth is flat. Lizards exist. Well, that's not a conspiracy. There are lizards out there somewhere. You know, lizards are ruling us.
Yeah.
The Earth's hollow and flat.
Yeah. It's not about them existing. It's the fact that they're ruling.
They're
us.
ruling us. That's the thing I always, because I call myself a conspiracy theorist because I believe in amphibians.
No, that's the wrong.
No, that's not.
They're
science.
overlords. Yeah.
That's science, isn't it?
Yeah.
But because it's such a pathetic story.
Yeah.
And such a pathetic, you know, engineered response. Because I think who in the world is actually angry at that?
Well, it's about holding politicians to, and this obviously happened a lot with Partygate, which was a much more serious thing, which is the rules they set, them breaking.
And we were fairly lax about Partygate.
Exactly.
Why we don't give a fuck if he's wearing a seatbelt?
Exactly. And it's that weird thing of like, I guess politicians play a huge part in the apparatus that sets the law. So by that means they cannot ever break the law because they're the ones, especially right at the top. But then I feel like
the
seatbelt law.
That's kind of the police.
Yeah, it's kind of the police. But even if you caught a police officer without wearing it, it's like we need to have that as a law because it helps the general good. But I don't feel like
with
small
the police,
lapses.
With the police, they're the ones who will give fines for not wearing a seatbelt.
Give.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not receive.
Well, it depends if they're not wearing a seatbelt. Well, that's what we're debating right now.
Well, the police would be, you know. Well,
you'd hope so. What happens if the video from the police? Hey, guys.
Hey, guys, just checking in. They'd have to get themselves. Did he get fined? I think he must have.
He did get fined. Fine. Yeah. He's a billionaire. Let's give him a fine to appease people.
Like a 50 quid fine.
Well, even that, even 100k is 50 quid to him.
Well, he should get.
He's the richest politician.
He should get fined.
Good. Fine.
Fine. He's been fined. Move on.
I'd only give him a fine though to appease the cuss.
Yeah.
Because it is.
I'd like to know the statistics of how many fines are given out for seatbelt non-seatbelt wearing.
Yeah. How serious the problem it is.
Because it isn't.
But I think it's
because it's also one of those laws where it's about self-protect. It's the only
selfish.
It's a selfish law. The only thing I can
about others.
The only term I can remember is what the right wing fanatics call it, like the nanny state. I'm just thinking of Brewdog.
Yeah.
But it's like rules for your own self-protection. Having laws for your own self-protection, because it doesn't really affect anyone unless you fall out the window.
I don't think it's about falling out the window.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
No.
I'm saying in the rare case you fall out the window.
Yeah.
When I say fall, I more mean, crash out the window, fly potentially. Because I did hear that once.
Well, Rishi's
I think I heard that in a politics classroom.
Well, I think the problem is also because Rishi's so tiny, the fact that he's not strapped down, I think...
It would be like a bug hitting someone.
It's a hazard. If he opened the window, the rush of air, because he's not wearing a seatbelt, he'd go flying out. That can go, yeah. That could he could go into a cyclist's mouth.
Because he's so the opposite of dense.
Yes.
What is it?
Yes, Andrew. Professor Kerwin.
Professor Kerwin. Rishi Sunak is the opposite of dense to such an extent that he'd fly out the window if I could. But no, you're right. That is actually public safety.
Exactly.
Because he's so tiny. Small. It would be, you open the window, he's gone.
Yeah.
And then he could hit a passer-by.
In the mouth. If it's like cycling, going, ah!
And then he could choke and then crash into traffic and die.
Yeah. And that's another.
And also killing the driver.
How much do you think any of this hysteria has come back from deep-seated cultural trauma in Lou with Diana? Do you think there's any the feeling of Princess Diana not wearing a suit and the People's Princess?
That would not have even been mentioned by anyone if Harry wasn't mouthing off at the moment.
No?
No way.
No, I think it would. No, you don't remember, you forget how huge the seatbelt thing.
You're right, I don't remember Diana.
No, but the seatbelt thing was such a huge part of it.
She died 2 days before I was born.
Oh shit, are you?
Or 2 days after. She was right in August 1997.
Do you think you're the new Diana? Do you think
if I'm 2 days after, then yeah, give her a solar time to go around the earth.
Yeah, because it's the Scientology thing.
Yeah.
Which is
she spoke about
if you get to a top level of Scientology,
3 days after me,
you can transfer your soul.
Yeah. 3 days after me. I think I could be the People's Princess.
Yeah. Well, maybe you're.
I think in a way I am.
A Scientologist.
I think I might actually be the People's Princess.
Yeah, maybe you are the new.
I think I am.
You maybe are the new.
I think I'm already doing it.
And that's why you should always wear a seatbelt, because that's how your previous life died.
Well, I always wear a seatbelt.
Yeah.
So I think that's me being Diana knows. Knows that. So are there new souls in? Are you about to wrap up? Because I'm about to ask it.
No, go.
What are they new? Because I know we spoke about this with Mike a bit, and it is the most hilarious thing that everyone in Scientology believes there was some famous person back in the day.
Yeah. You wouldn't be like.
But how can you have any credibility in your thought if you're out with your Scientologist friends having a dinner party and one of you was Charlie Chaplin, the other was Genghis Khan?
Yeah.
Sure, and no one's saying, I've never been a famous person. How can you have any...
Well, how do you know no one's saying that?
Because Mike said
that one person.
Yeah, he did.
So we don't know. There could be some like more humble, bashful Scientologists who'd be like, "Oh, I was just a peasant."
Yeah.
Medieval fishmonger.
Yeah, well, I'd hope that, because then they'd actually... Because you
but
can't
a big part of Scientology, so you don't like eggs. Right?
I think that's none of your fucking business, thanks, mate.
So you don't
Don't accuse me like that. Don't point your pen at me and say,
You don't like eggs!
Manslaughter. You're going down for murder, mate. I don't like eggs.
You don't like eggs. If
Correct.
you were being audited, not audited, what's it called? It's not audited, that's tax.
I think it is.
Processed.
Well, that's from the master.
Yeah, they changed it. Maybe it's called audited.
I think it's audited. But
whatever they call it.
When you're holding the things.
Yeah. They would find out they'd be asking things like, do you have a close relationship?
I got killed by an egg.
Do you like eggs?
They wouldn't.
No, because that's how they do it. So they ask you 500 questions and mixed in are important ones and small ones. So it'd be like, do you have a close relationship with your father?
And that's not important, but the eggs is.
Yeah, and they'd be like, do you like eggs? And you'd be like, no. And they'd be like, okay. And then they'd follow the eggs more.
In your previous life, you were a chicken. But on a farm.
Well, they would
actually,
genuinely think...
I lost all my children.
They would genuinely think you had some sort of traumatic incident with an egg. That meant that your soul doesn't like eggs.
I would love to go down that route, but we've actually done this before.
Have we?
Yeah.
Have we actually?
We've talked about how I died in a previous life via an egg.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
I mean, it was a long time ago.
Scraping the barrel.
We could do it again.
Yeah.
I think there was a chicken sat in a tree. This is different.
Yeah.
And I walked past, and it laid an egg spontaneously.
What? A tree chicken?
A tree chicken. Well, this was the 1800s.
Yeah.
They were everywhere.
Yeah. They didn't migrate to the floor.
Yes, that was when chickens were still up.
It's like when fish came out onto the land.
It is. It was
the great
a weird step
downward.
in evolution. Well, they are birds, though.
They are birds.
They just started putting on a bit more weight and thought we're too fat for the tree.
Yeah.
And then went down, so it just kind of spontaneously laid an egg and hit me. And it was raining, and I was taking in the raindrops.
Yeah.
And then all the rain hit my tongue, and then the egg went straight in my mouth, and I choked on it.
A whole egg.
Well, it wasn't half an egg.
Yeah.
A whole egg. I choke. Well, I can't. You can't choke on half an egg. Well, you probably can. No, you can't. It needs to be intact and like lodged into my.
So yeah.
throat.
So your last thoughts, and this is in the 1800s.
My last thoughts would be in my next life.
So you're wearing a big
I'm
ruff.
going to avoid egg. Yeah. In my next life, I'm going to avoid eggs.
Yeah. Thanks very much for listening, guys. We'll see you next week. I've got show at the Bill Murray, 26th of February, 5:30. Get tickets now.
Keep it real. Join us on the Patreon.
Join us on the Patreon.
A whole hour.
More.
We've got lots of topics.
We've got lots of topics. Or we'll just redo some old ones like we just
just did there. Doesn't matter.
See you next week. Bye. Bye.
Bye.